Hello everyone, welcome to another day in Shroud of the Avatar, and today is the release 51. So what I thought I would do is quickly take a quick talk through the release 51 instructions. They're quite involved like last time, so I will summarise some of it. So first of all, we're just going to skip through this bit, which just talks about the new scenes for the polish in there, new vendors and such like, and we'll come straight down to the first bit of news on the page. Now, Hilt Fortress, there has been a new single player version of Hilt Fortress that is available if you're on the quest to assemble the lens. Now you'll need all three parts of the lens and to be on the quest as well. And then when you enter Hilt Fortress, I would expect it would be giving you the choice of either going into the single player, which you can't go as a group as a single player, so you can either go in as a single player or you can go into the existing scene as it is in the game now. And this will only be so you can put the lens together. Before or after that, it will be the normal scene. There's a new area called the Lost Vale has been added in the map. Now, its location when it was on the test server was just outside Nightshade Pass, but I don't know if it will be there now, and it is only going to be available during certain solar alignments about once a month, they say. So we'll have to work that out and then go and have a look and play. Now, there's been another 2 scenes added to the game. We've got South Midmere Way, which is a 2-tier scene located in the centre of the Midmere region. It used to be a thriving city with lovely canals on the shore and a large lake in an otherwise arid region. The city grew rich on trade as it was on the road through Brittany to Exeter. The rulers built themselves tombs and amongst the cliffs and hid their treasures, defending them by traps, of course. The lake has now dried up, the city is abandoned, and opportunistic satyrs have moved in and plunderers raid the tombs. So I thought we would I'd show you quickly where they are in the game. So here we are in South Midmere Way, and if we look at the map up here, you can see that Brittany is just up here. You've got the volcano Nightshade Pass over here, and you'll be following down the road, and it's halfway, well, about a third of the way towards the thingy, and it is just outside Shamano Hills, which it would be located over here. You can see the new volcano scenes with the new plume of ash in the sky. And let's have a quick look inside. And as you can see, it's a big arid area. Let's just have a quick run into the area. I'm not going to spend any time in here. Just see if we can get quickly to the centre. So you see, it is an arid map. Oh, looks like there's another player ahead of us. Having a quick look, I'm sure, as well. But as you can see, we're coming up onto what looks like a market area. Of course, it's got some satyrs in it. They're all friendly, I believe. So, looks like an interesting place to come and have a look round. There's some tombs up here. Of course, probably some trading options in here. So, that'll be interesting to have a look at. And then the other one in the game is the South Fetid Swamp, which is a 3-tier scene located on the western end of the Dantis region. It is the site of an ancient siege, but is now littered with skeletons of soldiers and battered siege machines. And moss covers the encampments. Rumours abound of treasures hidden within the ruined keep. The locals of the swamp dwellers scoff on this idea, such silliness, and laugh at outlanders who die trying to find it. Methane in the area causes the bog to occasionally produce small fires on the surface of the water. Now that one is located South Fetid Swamp is just below Point West, so that's where that is. Let's have a quick look inside. And as we can see, this area has got some moss everywhere, got some of the mushrooms in here, there's some slime over here, and there's various poisons that can affect us in different ways. And then there's a keep somewhere in here. It's got lots of traps and things, but it's a big swampish area still, so that will also be rather an interesting area to come and visit and do some exploration in. And next, so that would be rather interesting. And we've got some side quests here. We've got some crafting quests, or starting crafting quests, that are in Soultown, Airy and Resolute. So in the starting scenes in the game there will be some nice starting quests to help us get on with crafting as a new player. And then we got the Witch of the Wetlands. If we go and see her, she'll teach us how to make a log cabin. We've got the Pants quests for the Virtue armour. We've got one, the Guard in Harvest has got one, and there's Simone in Adorus has got another one. And Pants on Fire is in Janiford, so you can go and search those quests out to complete your Virtue armour sets. There's also another quest called The Lord Must Fall, which the Drumple Mouse are at it again in Airy. So there's a quest for there to be done, and I think this one might affect your virtue, because you can either find out the truth or kill. So I don't know, I'm going to try it both ways with two separate characters, of course, because you can only try it one way as a quest, and see what the difference is. So that'll be a rather interesting quest to do. In Blood Bay they've changed one of the encounter scenes, the Lava Skull, to a Battle Royale which will summon a Clockwork Dragon. In Serpent Spine Mines they've clustered the iron ore nodes much like Elysium mines to make it easier for us to mine. Xenos and you, a lot of the NPCs have now been given names. Highvale Outskirts, they've added a guide for new players in upgrading their starter gear. Salisbury Outskirts, they've basically polished the final quest in there and added a blood minion. Brittany Castle, something secret is hidden in here if you haven't found it already, but it would be interesting to see what they've changed on that. In Janiford, all the NPCs now have schedules, behaviours and emotes, so they'll act slightly differently with us. Selenia Catacombs has been redesigned. The old parts are still there, they've just added some new parts. Resolute Sewers has got a new part added, I believe, for a quest as part of the new quests. A Bunker T has been added below Airy, and that is part of the quest line as well, but it's a puzzle that took me a long time to learn. Scenes bordering the rift, which you saw earlier, you'll now see more of a volcano looking effect from them. So we've got the big ash cloud in the sky, and of course that affects Black Blade Pass, North Entrance, Nightshade Pass, and also the Overworld map. All of the construction signs should now be removed, and if the place is still under construction you will get a text message as you enter the scene. Brookside, they've done a polish pass on the Headless Horse statue. The Malice barrier has been fixed. There's been various scene fixes. and some map fixes, and they've of course improved the performance like in every release. They've actually upgraded to Unity 2017.3, and with the terrain performances, the build time and asset caching and the asset optimization, they've been able to tidy up Brittany and the surrounding areas to make that faster. But all of this makes the game a little bit more better at playing. Now, combat is one of the big areas again. They've added a specialization skill. So if we quickly go to my character again in game, and he's just teleported back to his property for another reason. Let's just head on in. So we can now actually get the skills up, and we can see down here, this is the sword tree or the range tree. Just below the range we've got a new skill here, and the sword one is just down here. They've all got their particular ones in all of the trees, so those are the specialization little icons in the game. And basically what we've got to do is a long-awaited skill specialization system is finally going live. Note, in the past we've called this mastery or proficiency. Each adventure skill tree has one or more specialization skills. They are located near the bottom of the passives in the skill tree, and the specialization skills require a player to have a very accomplished level 80 skill in the parent skills. Now I don't know if that's all of them level 80 or just the one above it. We'll find out. To be able to learn the specialization. Now you'll be able to have one on training and one on maintain, and if you have any other skills of these skills, they will automatically be set to unlearn, so you can only actually have two active, one training and one on maintain. And once you've got those skills, they will give you extra benefits. You'll get an extra glyph or tile for each of the items in that particular tree, and your attunement, if it's a magical tree of course, your attunement for every 10 levels you'll gain +2 attunement in the magic tree and -2 attunement in the posing magic tree. So again, if we have a quick look at that in regards to the magic. So here we have the death magic. So if I was training in this one will be 48. It's now 46 because we'll have +2, but it would affect this one adversely. It would take this one down to 25, for instance, because it's the opposing tree, and each of the magical skills have an opposing tree, so as you can see they all match up to an opposing tree. So that's what that would be all about. In the taming tree, your creatures should be more stronger and double up their health as well, so that's a new thing for taming, so it'll be interesting to take that out and have a play with it. Now the skill specialization benefits, they give you some extra benefits, and they've only listed a few here. I will just read the top one. Air's Embrace gains a small melee range and critical hit bonus. Now there are over 125 additional bonuses and effects, so we're going to have to play around, find out which ones suit our character and go for those specializations. But bear in mind, you can only have two, one on maintain and one on train. The wild boars in the game are now tameable. They've added some rage effects to some of the boss creatures in the game, so now they will be harder to kill once they get below a certain health trigger point. They've added a new obsidian potion, Potion of Guidance, and what this potion does is it actually increases the amount of time or the amount of experience that comes out of your pool into the skill you're training. It doesn't increase any experience, so it's only it will train that ability about twice as fast. Now this was a replacement for the 2-week head start, and if you actually have that on your bundle, then basically you'll be given a box of renewable potions, which will be seen later. They've changed the armour set bonus, which is going to be rather interesting, because previously when you were wearing a full set of armour you got 10% damage resistance. In release 51 this has been removed, and instead players will gain a small 2.5% bonus for each piece of armour they wear in either light category or heavy category. For instance, a player wearing a leather torso and cloth on the all leather parts would still get a bonus roughly 12.5%. This bonus applies to the effectiveness of many other skill trees. So it's going to be interesting to work out what this is all about actually. And we'll take some research to find out, so I'll be possibly looking in that on the stream that I'll do later today. Mechanical creatures are now more resistant to fire and death magic because they are mechanical, but are less resistant, in other words, air damage will damage them more. Things like gust. Pugilism range has been increased to match that of a small weapon. The spinning attack can now not be blocked with the shield. Chaotic feedback can cause 5 points of damage. All the bludgeon weapons have been slightly increased in their damage, but have had 25% drop on their poison effectiveness. There were 2 abilities in the game, or are 2 abilities in the game, Bird de Flocon and Eagle Eye. These are 2 skills are dramatically different benefits despite costing the same and being in the same tier. These have been normalised and both have the same bonus. For those of you who like wearing a Lich Ring, you are now affected by the Banish of the Undead spell. Now, in the game before, we had we still have Enlightenment, Strength of Earth, and Air's Embrace. Now, when the game first came out, everybody was putting Enlightenment, which helps your focus, Strength of Earth, which helps your strength, and probably Air's Embrace is helping focus as well. So they were getting bonuses in all those areas. So they changed it a few releases later and made it so that the Enlightenment that helped focus decreased your strength a bit, your strength increased your health a bit, and they decreased your focus a bit, and I don't know if Air's Embrace did anything. But now what they've decided to do, probably to make the combat maths a little bit more simpler, is they've dropped the negative effects on all of them, so you won't get any of the negative effects, but you can only use one at a time. So you can either use Enlightenment, Strength of Earth, or Air's Embrace. You can't use them as a mixed group because one will cancel out the other. The push and pull is now affecting straight away because there was a small time benefit in there, and that was causing an exploit with the blink in PvP. The ice field radius has now been set to 7.5 meters and will also do a small amount of damage. Spell damage has been normalised, so it looks like we're going to see some spell damage increasing and some decreasing slightly to balance them out. The distract skill will now be learned straight away at level 20, allowing you to learn the intelligence, I think it was, so we will quickly have a look at that on the game because it will be easier to explain it. So we have in the subterfuge tree a skill up here called Distract. Now before we actually had to level this to level 20, and I don't know, I've never found a use for it, but we had to train that to level 20 before you could start learning to train dexterity, which is one of the important skills in the game. But now if you have to learn this skill, it will automatically be available at level 20 straight away, allowing you to train in your dexterity straight away as well. Critical hit colour on self, so they've changed some of the graphics on the actual numbers that jump around, and they've changed some of the VFX additions and polish. They've changed the combat blood spurts, the eating food, the vanish undead, and the ice field. They've changed how wisps and horns debuffs work. So now it's going to be a little bit harder if fawns are around or wisps are around. They fixed the stealth, because some of the shield benefits were showing you through the stealth field. Knockback, knockdown has been fixed. There's been a fix on a health bug where your bar didn't fill fully, even though the maths was being applied, the bar wouldn't fill properly. So that should be fixed now. They've got a fix on summon pets reagents, and the offhand attack animation has been fixed. New chaos spells have been delayed. Now we've got new harvestable trees in the game, which are quite easy to spot. Now the pine tree, the one on the right, looks very similar to the old tree. It's red in colour, still similar shape, so it's definitely different. But the beech tree is maple tree, sorry, not beech. The maple tree is a much more bushier tree with a clear whitish trunk, so those will be interesting to go and find in the game. And at least there's some distinguishment. Now they've done this critical success during batching. Now I'm not quite certain what this is about, but it's definitely to do with crafting. Now I don't know if it means that we'll now be able to craft weapons in batch and get the chance of the exceptional in the batch, or whether it means that the components that are used to make weapons when they are batched give a benefit. So we're going to have to do a bit of research on that, but it's going to be one or the other. Now again, we've got new player vendors in here, and I'm going to summarise a lot of this because they do love repeating themselves in the notes on this particular item, because again it's one of the major changes in this release. Prior to release 51, all the player vendors were identical looking and stood perfectly still, so they look like cloned statues. So basically what they've done is they've given them the similar animations as the NPC vendors, and you can get different skins for them. They've also added a date added column, so you'll be able to see if a vendor is a bit stale. In other words, does he have new items on there, or does he still have all the old stuff? And save vendor animations and customizations of patterns, which we will go through a little bit further down. Crown merchants they've finished adding items from the add-on store, so you can now buy all of the things on the add-on store should be now available on Crown Merchants. So they've added some new recipe patterns into the game, and the dragon head trophies, there are various colours, should now show their colours hopefully. Watering can decoration, which you can find in Harvest. The hollow log house, which was in one of the quests we've talked about before. There's a cash register pattern, which is for your merchant in the game, and that's available if you've got a deed merchants in the game. Ornate brass cash register pattern is on the add-on store. The ornate steel cash register eternal pattern is if you've got a bundle or pledge reward. There are some male vendor patterns on the deed merchants in the game, female vendor patterns on the deed merchants in the game. There are male shopkeeper patterns in the add-on store. And this one here, I believe if you've got a knight servant, a lord servant, a lord marshal automatron, or a baron servant, you'll be able to salvage those to get a eternal pattern to put on your vendors. They've added some kitchen knives and cleavers, some kitchen pots, pans and a kettle, pewter place settings and wooden kitchen utensils, and they've re-added the coconut bra as patterns in the game. They've removed the potion of greater resistance because it was accidentally being dropped in bundles. Learning recipes, there was a fix on the text, I believe. Jewelry icon will now show as a damaged icon if it becomes damaged. Now, they were looking at giving us some more refining skills, but they put those on hold just to see how the refining skills bonuses we have now are affecting the market. Let's quickly go down here. Now, if you're on a quest and they ask, let's say, for 3 items and you have 6, you won't have to drag 3 out and give it to them. They should now take the required amount. The Book of First Time Help has been basically had a polish on it. It's the book that you can pick up when you enter the game. They've added in some refining skill icons. They've fixed the resolution in borderless window. They've removed bag mode, which I never knew was in the game, but it used to be a mode where you could have everything looking in a bag, which got a bit chaotic when I saw it on a stream earlier. It's now not in the game, so I don't have to worry about it. Map work has been delayed at the present moment in time. I think that's the on-game map they're talking about. The physical goods are on their way, and these are a little bit more on that. Now, if you're in a party, there are now loot rules which can be applied by the party leader. Now, these are either a single looter, a random roll, or free for all, and the leader of the party will get to choose whether it's free for all, whether he's going to choose one party member to be the looter, or whether it's going to be a random roll. It looks like they're going to put certain values on some of the cheaper stuff and to try and balance it out, and that's what that's all talking about. But I think we're really going to have to wait until we can see this in the game to see how it plays out. Heraldry has been delayed. There's new bears, of course, which were promised in this release. So we've got a new brown bear, grizzly bear, polar bear, patriarch bear, obsidian bear, and then there's a bear headdress, a primal bear headdress, a bear mask, the bear clan barbarians are in the game, so we can salvage their armour if it drops, and the bear trophies now should of course look different according to the new artwork that's been applied to them. Demig and Arthred, custom NPCs. These two characters play an important role on the path of courage in the scene of Demig's battle clamp. Therefore, they should be represented by more unique faces that we have created for release 51. They've done a polish on the ghosts, so all of the ghosts in the game, including yourself and your pets and things like that, should start to look a little bit different. They've added emotes, so you can use them on your tamed pets and also on your battle pets in this release. Ducks are now tameable along with boars. And again, here we go about the repeating, which I was talking about, player vendor variations, male player, female player, and the male shopkeepers, and there's also a till version as well, of course. The virtue armour, which we talked about before. Now the rusty weapons, so let's have a quick look at that. They've made them look more rusty. So let's have a quick look at that. So basically, in the game, yep, we've got it there. Hopefully this works. I did set some out on the wall, yep. So on the wall over here we've got the new rusty weapons, so as you can see they have got more rust on them than they would have had before. So basically I did do a picture, so I will post a link in the description of the before and after, and we'll see how that plays out in the game. The cloaks have been added in the game for Supernova Australian 2018 and also the Pack Slayer 20th anniversary. Now there's a new DJ deck in the game, a dual wax cylinder phonograph, and if you buy that you will get a couple of emotes: DJ Listen, DJ Table when it's scratching the cylinder, and DJ Cheer and Overhead Clap. Now the person who buys the phonograph can also teach those emotes. The flirt emote, they've added a twinkle eye effect, they've fixed the knight and the tip hat emote. They've also fixed falling bards. And again we're talking about the wisps, which we talked about in the game. The bandits have not been polished. Now if you are lucky enough to have been in the pledge, some pledge rewards are being added to the game. There's some character name request vouchers. Fernando's Tablet of Finding, Replenishing Box of Obsidian of Guidance, which was those potions we talked about. So if you've got the 2-week head start, you'll be receiving one of those, which will give you 12 potions a year. Names on Brittany Graveyard tombstones, the Doomsday Book and the credits page are going to be added. This is the wax cinder that you can get in the game. Again, here we go, cash registers, which is again to deal with the vendors. The bear head trophies should now look different. The dragon head trophies should look different. The places to live book, which is another book somewhere in the game. So I'm just going to go through that. But it's a book that's going to link to a forum post. And let's have a quick look at that. So it links to a forum post where you can advertise your rooms for rent. So that's what you'll be able to give out to players. So that's been added into the game. An Elven Guard Tower has been added in. And of course the serving kitchen items, which we saw in the patterns. Now the hot tub now has some extra graphics which will add steam and bubbles. Now if you are playing in offline mode, and this is only if you're playing in offline mode, which is a solo mode in the game, you will not be able to see any player owned towns, so you'll only be able to see the NPC towns. They've done some house and furniture fixes, and of course some of the towns have changed size, possible locations and names, and you'll have a quick look to see if any of yours are in there. We should now have our release 48 post-mortem telephone items, which is the Ice Sword, Ice Shield and Ice Crown, and the release 49 telephone items, which is the Juggle emote, Juggle Snowballs emote, Snow Dragon and Frost Pipe. So those should be available in the bank if you partook in those post-mortems. On the store we should be seeing soon some more autism awareness items, Juggle Blue Torches, Puzzle Piece Blue Floor Lantern, and a Puzzle Piece Wall Sconce. So those should be available on the Make a Difference store. Then they've changed some of the sound effects in the game. The Lunar Rift has been changed. An exit and enter scene teleport sound has been added or changed. The baby boars, the wild tame boars and the wolves have now got new sounds, and some generic sounds in regards to us as avatars in combat and physical exertion, it looks like. So, and they're saying it's a work in progress, so we'll have to see what that leads to. And of course this is the ending notes, which are the normal ending notes, especially the 80% of the quality of the game goes during the last 20% of development. So that is the patch notes for R51, and I hope you've found them helpful and informative. And of course, if you could just follow me on Twitch and subscribe to me on YouTube. That will help me grow the channel. So you also see all the information for Shroud of the avatar there. Please feel free to leave any comments in the comments section, and will get back to you. And thank you for watching.